Sprinkles, welcome back to Storytime with Mommy. I'm Mirabella and this is Mommy. Happy New Year, everybody! Happy 2023!
Happy New Year!
Today we are reading I Am Helen Keller.
Yes, and I Am Helen Keller is part of a series called Ordinary People Change the World. And they are written by Brad Meltzer and illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos. We have been reading all of the books in this series, and we thought we would share this one with you, Sprinkles, today. So if you have a copy, go ahead and grab it. And as always, I like to read the dedications before I read the stories. For my 9th grade English teacher, Sheila Spicer, the very first person who told me I could write. Thank you for believing in me and for proving the true power of a dedicated teacher. For my lifelong friend, Dr. Vincent Pizzuto, Vinny, since the day we met when we were 5 until this day, you have made me want to be a better person, not by what you said or did, but by being the person you are. You taught by example, and I love you for it.
Aww.
And there's a special thanks to Helen Selsden at the American Foundation for the Blind for all her help in getting the details right. So here we go. I am Helen Keller. When I was little, I was just like you. I loved to play, I loved my dog, and I loved seeing all the bright, beautiful flowers. I also loved copying people. At 6 months old, I could already say,
Howdy.
"How do you yourself?"
Tea, tea, tea.
Did she just ask for tea? How did she do that? What can I say? There's no stopping her. On the day I turned 1, I started walking. Oh, and there was another word I always loved. Here's your water. Just like any other kid, right? But there's one thing that made me different. When I was 19 months old, I got very sick. The doctor said I wouldn't live. I did live, but the sickness made me blind and deaf. This is how I see the world. Close your eyes and block your ears for 10 seconds. I couldn't see anything or hear anything. That's right, nothing. I know it seems scary. It was scary for me too. Back then, people didn't know how to deal with someone who was deaf and blind. My relatives thought I was a monster. You see the way she behaves? She put her hand in my plate. She ate my food. Wah, 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 wah. She's trying to find her water. She threw the silverware too. She's so poorly behaved, she shouldn't be here. They were right, I wasn't well behaved. I was extremely frustrated. In my dark world, I couldn't tell if anyone noticed me or cared about me. I couldn't see or hear what I was doing. But by the time I was 5, I'd figured out small ways to communicate. To say yes, I nodded my head. For no, I shook it from side to side. To say father, I motioned to put on his glasses. For mother, I rested my hand on my face. For my baby sister, I did this. What'd she do? What did she do?
She put her thumb.
Yeah, like she's sucking on her thumb. And when I'd shiver like I was cold, it really meant Helen wants ice cream. But even those signs, I couldn't get my dog Belle to play with me.
Puppy.
I didn't know how to speak, so I couldn't call her. I just wanted to play with my dog. The saddest part was I got used to a dark and silent world. People told my parents to give up on me, that I'd never be good at anything. They didn't listen though. After reading about another blind and deaf girl, my parents found something they hadn't had since I'd gotten sick. hope. This says here there are places that teach deaf and blind children. That's what she needs. She needs a teacher. We all do. Everyone needs a teacher. Still, I had no idea what the world was about to bring me.
But the question is, if she was like deaf and blind, how would she hear her teacher?
Oh, well, there might be a clue here. I never had a more important day. I was 6 years old. From the way my mother was hurrying, I knew something big was coming. I stood on the porch waiting, feeling the sun on my face. Someone approached. I could feel footsteps. I reached out thinking it was my mother. She pulled me into her arms. Her name was Anne Sullivan. She's the teacher who changed my life. In one of her first lessons, she gave me a toy doll. After letting me play with it, she spelled the word doll into the palm of my hand. D-O-L-L. Can you feel the letters? Give me your hand, Mirabella. So what she is using, Anne Sullivan, she's using American Sign Language. And so usually it's used for people who are deaf for them to be able to speak. But here, Helen was deaf and blind, so she couldn't actually see the hand movements. So she would have to feel the signals in the palm of her hand. So what Anne spelled out is doll. So if you know sign language, Sprinkles, go ahead and join us. Let's spell doll. D, so she would feel the D in her hand. O, she'd feel the O. L, L. And that is how Anne learned how to spell doll.
Let's do it. Let's put our hands like this.
D, O, L, L. Good job.
Do you cheer a mother or a father and see if they know what the heck they're doing?
What? What did you just say?
I said, see, try to your mother and father to see if they know what the heck you're doing.
Oh, what word you're spelling. Yeah. Okay. Maybe at the end of the video, Sprinkles will show you the whole alphabet.
Yes, we might do that.
I could feel them, but I didn't know what letters or words were or how they worked. It didn't stop Miss Sullivan. One day we were arguing as she was trying to teach me the words mug and water. I got so upset I took my new doll and smashed it to the ground. I got angry a lot back then. It was so hard for me. I was frustrated. Never losing her patience, my teacher took me outside. At a nearby spout, she put my hand under the running water. In my other hand, she spelled the word W-A-T-E-R. Then she spelled it again. W-A-T-E-R. And again, and again, and again, and again. W-A-T-E-R. 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 You understand, don't you? You understand. I understood.
For that part where it has like
the little smoke over her head.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, that's probably how she was feeling. So again, she took her outside and she spelled water. So give me your hand, Mirabella. We're gonna do what Anne Sullivan did. And we're gonna hold up a W. A. T. E. R. So she had to keep spelling that over and over and over. And then did Helen understand finally?
Let's do it, Sprinkles. What?
Mirabella, we're moving on here. Did Helen understand it finally?
Yes.
Did she have to show her just one time?
No.
2 times?
Many
times.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes.
9 times.
All right, and just because you're such a good sport, let's do it together. Ready? W. 3 fingers.
Okay, this is hard.
These are together. Yeah. W. A. T. E. R. It is tricky to learn sign language.
Because, like, you know what got me the most
The W?
The W is like it's like professional difficulty.
Yes,
And
all those finger muscles.
And this is me.
All right, here we go. From there I realized that everything had a name. Every object I touched seemed to burst to life.
Mother, lamp, mother, father, lamp, table, dog. The dog goes, who's hungry? Sister, teacher.
And now when I wrote words in my teacher's hand, I had someone who could understand me. When you're learning something new, it's often hard. I started with words. My vocabulary grew fast. Eventually, I learned the meaning of the word love. I had given my teacher some flowers, so she spelled it into my hand. I love Helen. What is love? Confused, I asked her, what is love? It is here, she spelled while tapping at my heart. I was still confused. It was hard to understand something I couldn't touch. And do you want to spell love with me? Ready? L-O-V. Two fingers for V. V-E. And that's what she spelled into Helen. It made no sense. Why couldn't my teacher show me love? But then she explained. You can't touch clouds, but you can feel rain and know how happy flowers are to get watered. That is how love is. You can't touch it, but you can feel how happy it makes you. There in that moment, my whole world changed. It was as if there were invisible lines that stretched between me and everyone else in my life. Close your eyes. You can feel it too. Your connection to your family and friends. Still, life was never easy. Without sight, I couldn't see people's faces. Without sound, I couldn't hear their voices. But one of my greatest breakthroughs came when I learned to do what you're doing right now, reading.
Read without eyes. How? Read without eyes. How's she gonna do that?
You'll read with your fingers. On this cardboard, you'll feel raised dots. The dots make letters, the letters make words. This is the word for doll. To practice, I'd match each word with its object and make sentences. This was my favorite game. We played it for hours. See if you can find the sentence, girl is in wardrobe.
Girl is in wardrobe. Sister is pouting.
Oh, hold on, let's go up here. What's happening up here on the bookshelf?
Book is falling.
And what's over here on the desk?
Flowers on desk.
And then over here?
Doll is on bed. Dog is...
Teacher
is
proud.
Dog is smelly. Sister is pouting.
Oh, not pouting. It says pooping.
She looks like she's squeezing.
I'm sure she did that because she was little and had a diaper on still. From there, I started reading real books, just like you. The only difference was my books were in Braille, which is a series of raised dots that you read with your fingers. Go ahead and try. Move your pointer finger over the dots below. Your pointer finger is your very first one that you point with. At first, it just feels bumpy, right? You'll get used to it. These dots spell my name, Helen. Want to read your name in Braille? Here's the alphabet. Run your pointer finger over the letters. Now close your eyes. There you go. Now you're reading just like me. Now I know you Sprinkles can't do this at home unless you have a copy of this book, but Mirabella can take her pointer finger and she can run it through the letters. Was
Mirabella.
Yeah, Mirabella. To make reading even more fun, my teacher took me outside. She knew I loved feeling the sun on my face and smelling the pine needles. I read my books so many times, I wore down the raised dots. There were the Arabian Nights, Robinson Crusoe, and one of my favorites, Little Women. In those pages, I met brave boys and girls who could hear and see. I am not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship. One of Miss Sullivan's best lessons came when she showed me how plants grow. Feel these buds? Some buds open fast, others open slowly. A flower can only bloom if it's watered. When I was 9 years old, I wanted to learn how to speak. Even Miss Sullivan was worried about teaching me. She thought I'd get frustrated, but nothing would stop me now. To help me, Miss Sullivan took me to a teacher named Sarah Fuller, who would put my hand to her face and let me feel her tongue and lips as she made each sound. Yes, Helen, feel each sound, like the vibrating strings on a piano. In an hour, I learned the letters M, P, A, S, T, and I.
What does that spell? Ma?
Now I could call my dog, and she'd come to me. At my 7th lesson, I spoke this sentence, the one sentence that I'd repeat over and over.
I'm not dumb now.
That makes you feel a little sad inside, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She felt like she was dumb. Was she dumb?
No.
Absolutely not. She just had to learn how to be able to communicate.
Look at the doggy.
Do you think Belle, her doggy, is happy?
Yes.
Yeah. As I got older, I didn't just learn to speak English. I learned French and German. For college, I wanted to go to Radcliffe at Harvard University. Maybe she should wait another year. Deaf and blind people don't go to college.
I am going.
I wouldn't argue. There's no stopping her. At Harvard, most of my books weren't available in Braille, so Miss Sullivan spelled out many of the textbooks in my hand. That's how much I loved learning, and that's how patient and selfless Miss Sullivan was. I became the first deaf and blind person to earn a college degree. I wouldn't be the last. As I grew older, I wrote 12 books and visited 34 countries. But the most important thing I did was to make sure that other people with disabilities could get the same education I had.
There she is! She sounds so strong.
My family had the money to hire a private teacher. Not everyone is that lucky. We need to give every person an equal chance. Today, thousands of deaf and blind students enroll in universities thanks to the work Helen did.
Riding a horse? How does she do that?
That was only the beginning. I didn't just help the deaf and blind. I started fighting for social change, to help women vote, to help the poor survive, and to help people who needed it most. She was one of the earliest supporters of the ACLU to fight for free speech. She was also one of the first supporters of the NAACP to help black people get equal rights as well. She met every president from Grover Cleveland to Lyndon Johnson, but let's be honest, they met her. Today, the American Foundation for the Blind and Helen Keller International continue to help the blind and hungry. In my life, they said I was different. They said I'd never be normal, but the truth is, there's no such thing as a normal life. Every one of us is like a flower that must be watered. Every one of us is full of potential, and every one of us can overcome obstacles. Look at me. Hear my words. I may not be able to see, but I have vision. I may not be able to hear, but I have a voice. Think of your life as a hill that must be climbed. There's no correct path to get to the top. We all zigzag in our own ways. She's the first statue in the U.S. Capitol that's of a child.
I really want to know, how do you do all that stuff?
I just decided I could. At some point, you'll slip, you'll fall, you'll tumble back down again. But if you get back up and keep climbing, I promise you, you will reach the top. Don't let anything hold you back. Our lives are what we make of them. There will always be obstacles, but there will always be ways around them. I am Helen Keller, and I won't let anything stop me. Oh, and one last thing. Go say thank you to that teacher who helped you when you needed it most.
If this is on a school day, today sprinkles, or tomorrow, go go to your teacher and thank him for teaching me. Go,
Yeah.
go. And I'm serious. Just do it now.
And that's what Helen said. And also, here's a quote by Helen. On the back 2 pages, we get real photographs of Helen's life and a quote.
Let me read it. The best and the most beautiful things in the world can't be seen or even touched, but just felt in the heart.
Very.
Thanks for joining us, Sprinkles. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Make sure you buy our merch and check out our Instagram, Mirabella_TV. Make sure you become a member. The link is down below.
And hit join. And should we do the American Sign Language?
Yes.
All right, you do the alphabet, I'll do the sign.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, X,
S.
S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, U, Z. Now I know my ABCs, kinda, because I said X instead of S.
It's okay. Thanks for joining us, Sprinkles.
Thanks for joining us, Sprinkles.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Love you guys. Wow.